Okay, so those of you watching this on the recording, 5 to 7 blankets, 2 blocks, a bolster, and a sandbag, please. And we're going to start in Supta Baddha Konasana, which is the 2 blocks set up with the bolster on top. And you can, I think someone might be here. No. Sorry, I thought I saw someone walking past the windows, but it's not. And you're going to want a blanket at the top for your head, blanket on either side for your arms, a blanket rolled like this so that you can wrap it around your feet. So let me help you with this, Teresa. I love this. It's a great way. And do you have your sacrum like right up against the bolster? There. Okay, and now put your knees together and now drop them down. There we go. And then it's up to you whether you want a blanket or a sandbag on your pelvis horizontally or following the line of your spine along the torso. So you get to decide what you want to do. If that sandbag or blanket is going to help to ground you, definitely use it because we're in Vata season. And Vata season is really very, very chaotic and is not grounding. So we want to do as much as we possibly can to ground ourselves. So making sure that we are connected to when our feet are touching the earth. And when we're lying in restorative poses, to allow ourselves to feel a little more dropping into the earth, into the props. And then once you arrive, I want you to begin to just let everything that came before this moment fall away. So all the busyness, the chaos, the stress of the day, can you just release it? Maybe notice it releasing with each exhale. So you give yourself a physical release of the stress. So whatever is not serving you, let it go. Let it seep out the back body. Let it release with each exhale. And allow yourself to arrive in this moment. So as you rest here, I want you to just notice what shows up in the breath, the qualities of the breath. Is it hot or cold, full or shallow, smooth or choppy? Not that either is right or wrong, but just noticing what is without judgment, without expectation. being the witness in this moment and allowing it to be. Oftentimes in our society, we notice something only when we want to shift it. It's rare that we notice and let it be when it's not sitting well with us. So you may chafe against that. Just notice what shows up. Notice where in your body or your mind there may be tightness, resisting against this concept of letting it be. And then can you just allow the breath to create a little more space to smooth it out? With each exhale, can you allow your body to become heavier? The bones become heavier. The skin of the front body starts to melt into the back body. And then I want us to pull in our mantra that we've been using since September, ahimsa, non-harming thoughts, words, actions, especially directed towards yourself. And then coming back to the breath, can you make your exhale longer than your inhale? I'm not going to dictate the breath pattern, but just making that exhale longer than the inhale to pull in the parasympathetic nervous system and to allow the body to quiet, the nervous system to move into that rest and digest mode. And with this longer exhale, just begin to notice what that does for the body, the physical body. Does it create any more ease, any more space in the physical body? And then from here, staying in your Supta Baddha Konasana, reclining bound angle pose, I want you to come to a mental alternate nostril breath. So on your inhale, I want you to sip the inhale in through the tip of the left nostril to the space between the brows. exhale from the space between the brows to the tip of the right nostril. Inhale, tip of the left nostril to the space between the brows, third eye chakra. Exhale from the third eye to the tip of the right nostril. Stay with this breath pattern, allowing yourself to become fully immersed in the breath, visualizing the breath moving in and out of the nose, following the path. If the mind begins to wander, pull it back in, attach it to the breath. It's at the bottom of this next exhale that you release the mental nadishodhana and come back to that longer exhale than your inhale. Visualizing the breath as it enters both nostrils, noticing the path that it traverses into the torso. Visualizing the exhale, noticing the path that it takes from the torso out through the nose. And then at the bottom of this next exhale, I want you to go ahead and roll over to the right side, fetal pose. You can stay on the bolster or off the bolster. You get to decide what feels right for you. And as you land on the right side in fetal pose, cradling the head on that bottom arm if that feels good. And I want you to just notice how the breath is a little fuller through the left nostril. Your lunar, grounding, calming nostril. Notice if the mind is wandering, pull it back in, attach it to the breath and our mantra, ahimsa. And it's on your next inhale that you gently press the left palm into the earth to rise up. And from here, we're going to move into a heart opener, you guys. So, really basic restorative poses today, because my goal is in this really chaotic holiday season to try to calm the nervous system and to open up the areas that we usually hold a lot of tension, which is in the shoulder girdle, the neck and shoulders, and also in the back body. So I want to do this heart opener and then I want to do a twist. And I think between those, that should target some of the areas that we usually have issues in. We already did the Baddha Konasana, the bound angle pose, to get into the hips. So we should have already started addressing some of the tightness in the pelvis and the legs. So I'm going to give you a couple of options and you can land where you want to land. You can do the traditional block fish pose where you keep your blocks set up like they were for Supta Baddha Konasana, where the tall block is at the very back and the shorter block with the long edge is in front of it. And you can set that up so that the block lands right about 2 to 3 ribs from the bottom, and the tall block, the occipital ridge, which is that little bony brainstem cervical spine region, is in the middle. You can do that. That's a great place to be. If you want to go for something a little more accessible, a little less of that big opening, you can take a blanket. I like this one if you really have a lot of tightness across the collarbones and the shoulders. I feel like this one really helps alleviate that. You take a blanket, traditional yoga fold, and you're going to have that land closer to your waist so that you can have your shoulders touch your mat and then the arms come into cactus. So this is a little more opening. I feel like if you tend to hunch over a computer a lot, I feel like this one gets into some of those regions. So you get to decide blocks or blanket, which one is going to feel good for you, which one is going to address the issues that you're having with your body today, and choose wisely. So once you land, you have a couple of options. You can bring a blanket on top of the pelvis horizontally to help ground the pelvis. You can not bring a blanket on top. It's up to you. You could even use your sandbag if you want a little more grounding. So the sandbag is really going to help ground the mind as well as the body. So you get to decide what is going to fit your needs today. Beautiful. I know. It doesn't seem to be warming up in here. We're having HVAC problems, Teresa. So I'm it's a whole thing. And if that gets too much for you, Teresa, you can always pull a blanket out at some point. So just be aware. You don't have to stay there if it gets to be too much. So arrive, land, breathe. Breathe into the expansiveness of the collarbones, the expansiveness in the heart. Breathe spaciousness into the belly. So, a lot of times during the holidays, our stomach can become knotted up. So, just notice if you've been holding tension in your belly and you didn't even realize it until this moment. Can you breathe spaciousness into your tight regions? Could be the belly, could be the jaw, could be in the hips, could be that space between the brows, could be at the base of the neck. So just take a scan and notice where your habituated patterning is, where you hold tension and don't even realize it possibly. And can you breathe your expansive breath, prana, into those spaces, creating softness, creating release. And as you settle into this pose, just notice if the mind is moving. Just notice if you're attaching to the movement. Notice if it's beginning to pull you in to have a dialogue with the thoughts. So your work as you were in these restorative stress relief classes is not to have a cessation of thought. That's not what we're aiming for. For most of us, that's impossible to achieve. A quiet mind is not a mind devoid of thought. Instead, a quiet mind is one where thought is present, but you're not interacting with it. So, can you notice the thoughts as you would notice clouds in the sky and allow the thought to drift past the screen of the mind without attachment, without dialogue? If needed, notice the thought, label it thought, and release it. Attaching the mind to the natural breath, allowing ahimsa to weave in and out of this shape. And then from here, once again, just as we did in Supta Baddha Konasana, we're going to come back to that mental alternate nostril breath, Nadi Shodhana. So as you sip the breath in, visualize the breath sipping in from the tip of the left nostril to the third eye chakra. Exhale from the third eye to the tip of the right nostril. Inhale, left nostril to space between brows. exhale, space between brows to the tip of the right nostril. Stay with this breath pattern, noticing the breath moving in and out of the nose. At the bottom of this next exhale, gently release mental nadi shodhana. Come back to that longer exhale if you lost that. And then at the bottom of this next exhale, you're going to gently roll over to the right side, fetal pose. Once again, as your transition, cradling the head in that bottom arm. Once you arrive, if that feels good, taking your time. There is no need to rush. And once you arrive, I just want you to notice how the breath is fuller through that left nostril. You're calming, grounding, lunar nostril. And it's on your next inhale that you gently press the left palm into the earth to rise up. And we're going to set up for our twist. So what I want you to do is I want you to set up your bolster so that it is lengthwise vertical on your mat. And you're going to sit with your right hip square and flush to the bolster. So yeah, you can have the bolster behind you, so your head is facing the back of the room, the front of the room. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It's just a matter of having that bolster lengthwise on your mat and your knees are bent and you have your right hip square and flush to that bolster. And then you're going to bring your hands to either side of the bolster. So my fingers are tented, so I'm on what I call cupcake hands here, so that I can inhale, lengthen the heart away from the navel. Exhale, rotate the navel to the right. Inhale, lengthen the heart away from the navel. Keep that rotation of the navel to the right as you exhale, lie down. So as you lie down, gazing the same direction as your knees is going to be a little easier for your neck. Gazing the opposite direction of your knees is going to be a little deeper of an opening for the cervical spine. If you need a blanket under your head, I can definitely grab that and put that underneath your head. You can let me know because I'm going to be coming around and placing sandbags on your thighs. So you have your arms in whatever configuration is going to allow you to breathe into the shoulder girdle. Let me know if this is too much, Teresa. You want the sandbag? Oh, yes. I never know with your back. Bless you. Okay. So as you lie here, I want you to just notice that rotation of the navel towards the right. Can you allow those left ribs to start to soften down towards the earth? Can you allow the legs to feel a little heavier, creating that release in the low back? Pull ahimsa back in if you lost it. Allow it to weave in and out with your breath. I'm going to bring us to a different breath pattern than we did in the first two poses. So as you sip the breath in, I want you to visualize that the inhale is beginning at the base of the pelvic floor. And as you inhale, the breath is lifting up the soft spine in front of the bony spine from the pelvic floor to the collarbones. Exhale from the collarbones down the soft spine to the pelvic floor. Inhale from the pelvic floor up towards the collarbones. Exhale from the collarbones down to the pelvic floor. Stay with this visualization of this very calming, vagal toning breath pattern. If the mind begins to wander, pull it back in to the visualization of the breath. The inhale up, the exhale down. The bottom of your next exhale, release this breath pattern. Come back to your natural breath with that slightly longer exhale than your inhale. And then gently just reach back, grab a hold of that sandbag that's on top of the thigh and the hip. Allow it to slide down. Bring your palms to straddle the bolster on either side, palms pressing into the earth, and then inhale, press yourself up. We're going to shift over to the other side. So you can remove any props that may be on you, shift over so that your left hip is square and flush with that bolster. And then once you find that bent at the knees, you're going to place your hands on either side of the bolster, fingers tented. Inhale, lengthen the heart away from the navel. Exhale, rotate the navel to the left. Inhale, heart lengthens away from the navel. Exhale, the rotation to the left stays as you lie down. You get to decide once again on this side, because we're not symmetrical, facing away from the knees or the same direction as the knees. Whatever is going to allow you to settle into the pose, that's what I want you to do. And once you arrive, I want you to just notice the rotation of the navel to the left, and then notice if you can make those right ribs a little heavier. So they start to drop a little more deeply towards the bolster. And then noticing the breath moving in and out through the nose. We're going to come back once again to that vagal toning breath that we did on the first side. So inhale, I want you to visualize the breath starting at the base of the pelvic floor. You inhale up from the pelvic floor along the soft spine to the collarbones. Exhale from the collarbones down the soft spine to the pelvic floor. Inhale up, exhale down. Stay with this breath pattern, visualizing the breath as it moves along the soft spine. The soft spine is a bundle of nerves that connect the brain to the gut, carrying all this information from one region to the other. When we breathe along the soft spine, we are toning our vagal nerve and strengthening this highway of information, creating more resilience in our nervous system. At the bottom of this next exhale, release the visualization of this breath pattern. Come back to your natural inhale and exhale through the nose. The exhale longer than your inhale. And I want you to place your awareness at the back of your heart, between your shoulder blades. And I want you to notice how the heart shines out between the shoulder blades out into the universe. Maybe with each inhale, it gets a little brighter. Just notice what it feels like to place awareness at the back of the heart, shining between the shoulder blades out into the universe. And then gently release the vision of the heart. Let it dissipate. Gently allow yourself to remove the sandbag from the top thigh and straddle the bolster with hands on either side. Press the palms into the earth. Inhale rises you up. And you guys are setting up for Shavasana and a Yoga Nidra. So go ahead, use whatever props you need, whatever your Shavasana looks like. Stonehenge, Supta Baddha Konasana, where we started, bolster underneath the thighs. You get to decide. What does your Shavasana look like for tonight? Honor that, choose that. Stay warm. I know it's cold in here. So bundle up, use a blanket. Wow, as a blanket, possibly. What a novel concept that is. And oh, we just have a couple left over there. So, as you set up for your most comfortable Shavasana, using whatever props are going to serve you, once you arrive, taking your time, there's no rush, you guys. If there's anything you need, an eye pillow, more blankets, anything, raise your hand. I can get it for you. Yeah, totally. Looks like you're looking for an eye pillow. Yeah. Do you want an eye pillow or anything, Cameron? You're good? Yeah. Okay. How about you, Danielle? Do you need anything? Okay. You are so welcome. There you go. You're welcome. So once you arrive and have settled in, as Barbara likes to say, once you've made your cozy nest, I want you to just take a scan of the physical body. Notice what shows up. Notice where there's ease. Notice where there's comfort. Notice where there may be a little bit of constriction. Maybe allowing your energetic breath to fill that space up and release some of that tightness. And then, as you feel the support of the earth beneath you, the gentle press of gravity from above, I want yourself to just feel supported by Mother Earth, cradled by Mother Earth. I want you to visualize that you're lying on your favorite beach, a beach that allows you to feel carefree, unburdened, safe, happy, filled with joy. And as you lie on the warm sand, baked by the sun, on your favorite beach, I just want you to feel the warmth of that sand as it cocoons the back body. Feel the warmth permeating all the tissues deep into the bones. And as you feel that warm cocoon beneath you, I want you to feel the warm rays from the sun beating upon the front body. Warmth from the sand below, warmth from the sun above. And as you lie here, cocooned in this warmth, I want you to hear the noises of your favorite beach. The rhythmic sound of the ocean as the waves lap onto the shore. The sound of the seagulls as they call to one another. The sound of children as they frolic in the water and amongst the sand. The sound of laughter as families enjoy this day together. Feel the warmth. Hear the soothing sounds. And then notice the smells as you lie here, cocooned in this warmth. The smells of the salty air, the smell of suntan lotion, the smell of food, any other smells that permeate your memory from your favorite beach. Feel the warmth from below and above. Hear the noises. Smell the smells. And as you lie here, just notice how the warmth starts to melt away all tension, all anxiety, all angst. It just releases from the back body deep into the sand. And as you lie here, safe, supported, cocooned, listening to the joyful noises around you, smelling the familiar smells, know that you are safe. Know that you are happy. Know that you are nurtured. As you rest in Shavasana. slowly, gently bring awareness back to the breath, back to the physical body. Maybe some residual warmth left from the sand and the sun. Begin to take some deeper breaths, deep into the belly, deep into the pelvic bowl. Bringing awareness to the extremities, maybe a gentle movement of the thumb pads over the finger pads, maybe some movement to the toes. Whatever movement is calling to you, honor that, choose that. Could be a full body stretch. It could be anything that you need in this moment before you make your way over to the right side. Finding your way over into fetal pose when you're ready, resting here once you arrive, maybe cradling the head in that bottom arm. Noticing how the breath is fuller through that left nostril, that grounding, calming lunar nostril. Ahimsa, weaving in and out with your breath. And it's on your next inhale that you gently press the left palm into the earth to rise up, finding your comfortable seat once you arrive. Using a lift under the sit bones if that feels good. No rush. Moving slowly, deliberately, as if you're moving through molasses. Finding that long spine once you find Sukhasana. Eyes can be open, soft drishti, or closed. As you breathe along the column of the soft spine in front of the bony spine. And then gently bringing your hands to your heart, Anjali Mudra, celebrating the divine that resides in each and every one of us. Gently bow your head to your hands. Take this awareness of divinity off the mat. Honor it in each person you meet. Honor it within yourself. Take ahimsa, non-harming, off the mat. Allow it to guide you as you move through your week, your year. And that is yoga. Namaste. Mm. Thank you, you guys. Move slowly. Take your time. You only have 5 million blankets to put away. Sorry, Cameron, I did not give you a long yoga nidra. You did get some. And it's been so darn cold, I really needed to pull in the warmth of the beach. Has it been cold in San Jose as well, Teresa? Yeah, it's been so bad this year.